when society reaches a point of beginning to understand what is written above, well, life will be great for all. No more bad company, no bad economy, no coercion from the government. You see, life is basically simple. But we've made a mess out of it. We are living so many lives that life has become a monster of many heads. Basically, we are living to do research. That's what we're living for, to do research. To find out who in hell or heaven we are. As we go about this project, we want to live peacefully, healthily, and comfortably. We want to make life easier and inspiring, and we should want to help others achieve the same. That's it. That's it. But the 85% whose heads are full of lies make everything very complicated. And here is the economy, politics, and education go awry. It becomes very confusing. And so, in order to survive, so they think, they must engage in a perpetual obsession of screw thy neighbor. They think that money and power are going to solve everything. They aren't. In discovering your purpose in life as presented below, all you are doing is discovering yourself to make life a wonderful experience for yourself. And when you align your personal purpose with the purpose of life itself, you are helping and contributing to that wonderful experience for others, more or less evolved than you. So we see that the economy, the unrest, the fear, the politics, and the greed are all self-created idiocy, not based on true values. And why not? Because man and woman is ignorant of the bigger picture, the spiritual blueprint. He is ignorant of the simplicity of it all. Because most of us have been hypnotized with lies for the past 3,000 years. And in business, medicine, education, government, and economy, we create poisons and then beg for an antidote from the government, or actually sell the antidote. The majority decide how desirable something is by how much money it will bring, regardless of the good to self and society. This is all over America. In my mind, Terry, why don't you put a little cooler? So.
Hey?
Yes, I
Turn
did.
that one on?
Yeah, no, blow the fuse is too much.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so that's what they do. You know, they create all these poisons and all these lies. They create the problem, the sickness, and then they sell you the antidote. We'll go a little bit more into this a little later. So, how do we begin to create an ideal life? Do we join groups and letter writing campaigns to change the minds of others? Do we join rah-rah religions? Do we sacrifice ourselves? Do we blame Tom, Dick, and Harry? I will attempt to answer these questions in a minute, and you're welcome to ask questions later. First, let me introduce a program that I promulgate in my book, The Road to Victory, Create Your Own New World. It is called the Square Deal. We actually did this for YouTube. Germain and I, he interviewed me on this on the Square Deal, and it's in YouTube. The Square Deal. Here's the Square Deal is applied in 4 steps. 1, implementation of honesty with self and reality. That's step number 1. Step number 2, answering 4 questions to oneself. Where did I come from? What am I doing on this planet? Where am I going? What is the purpose of life?
What if we don't know?
Well, we're going to go into that.
I keep asking them over and over for the last 40 years. I can come up with no answer.
Well, I can tell you very easily why. It's because you cannot apprehend these steps if your head is cluttered with the lies that they put in your head. So I'm going to give you a way to get rid of the lies, and then you will understand. Okay. Then the answers will come to you. Step number 3, eliminating and unburdening oneself of conditioning, tradition, and the lies existing in both the conscious and subconscious minds. So I want to talk about that in a minute. And step number 4, discovering one's purpose in life and aligning it with the purpose of life itself. Now, to find out the purpose of life itself, you gotta look, you gotta observe. You know that 85% They just sit around and say, well, this is life. Whatever happens, that's life. Well, that's life. No, it isn't. Life is what you make it. That's it. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to win all the time. I mean, probably you might even get bored if you won all the time. Listen, if you won most of the time, that's good enough. So, these 4 steps are the basis of one's spiritual blueprint that one will use to never again worry about the state of the world or anything else for that matter. Let not one day pass that you don't think about it. You can engage in these steps one after the other, but it's better to act on them all at the same time and from moment to moment. So, for example, the answer to what is the purpose of life is not coming, but you're engaging at the same time in step number 3, which is unburdening and getting rid of the conditioning. So you're eliminating the lies, and then that answer will come out. So, now, let's take a look at each one. Step 1, implementation of honesty with self and reality. The average person never for one moment looks inwardly at himself. Therefore, he has no idea of what honesty with self is. Honesty to this person is just a nice word to use when he can't get away without it. Honesty with self means to observe oneself constantly, to be able to determine what the real truth of anything is. And it takes courage to be honest with yourself. Honesty with reality means to observe and question everything in the world and compare it with the lies you were given from childhood on. The lies of the media, the lies in education, in health, and the lies in politics. If one implements just this step alone, which is step number, what are we doing? Step number 1. Okay? I did that just to make sure you're listening. If one implements just this step alone in dealing with the ongoing fiascos of the day, meaning the economy, the swine flu scares, so that the drug companies can make millions on vaccines, asking the government for help instead of depending on oneself, the lies of the rebel-rousers in the media industry, etc., etc. Just this one step alone will protect you from all of these things, and you will walk with your head high in a world created by yourself, as I so enthusiastically promulgate in my book, The Road to Victory, Create Your Own New World. But of course, we are all too busy chasing after nothing, that we don't have time for our intellectual, emotional, and spiritual evolvement. Step number 2, answering for questions to oneself. Where did I come from? What am I doing on this planet? Where am I going? What is the purpose of life? If you simply ask these questions of yourself daily, say 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night before going to bed, you will find that you will have contacted the puppeteer, remember, of the marionette show spoken of above? You remember the puppeteer that was playing with? And thus you no longer need direction from others, from government, from media, from the majority of books, from cults, from so-called friends, etc.
Right.
You have become your own owner. And when you become your own owner, you don't need advice from others, or from the government, or from the TV. All you have to do is stop, think. What is the problem? And the answers come to you. Again, if your head is filled up with lies, aberrations, you can't get the answers so easily. You have to get rid of that stuff. Okay. If you simply ask these questions of yourself daily, say 5 minutes in the morning, you read that, okay? Okay. You become your own owner. You have become totally dependent on yourself. Not independent, because you still need to exchange goods, services, and pleasures with others, but nearly 100% dependent on yourself. And thus, free from the present gloom and doom. Step 3, eliminating and unburdening oneself of conditioning, tradition, and the lies existing in both the conscious and subconscious minds. This part is more difficult, and only one person every 500 would take it upon himself to follow through with this procedure.